This week on Getting Deep, a solo episode with just me. And I wrote down like 10 different things to speak about, and I got stuck on the first one for an hour. And I went pretty far into the subject of perspective. And it started off with like wondering about the perspective of things that you interact with on a daily that you would never think about. Like, what's the perspective of a tile? What's the perspective of a microphone? And so on. And then it led into my life as a dog breeder and how that changed my perspective of how realistically we're just kidnapping animals consistently and slavering, using them as slaves for entertainment. And my thoughts on if everything is conscious, whether it's things that don't matter, that don't move, or things that grow like grass. It goes down some pretty funny routes. So don't think it's going to be super serious, because obviously the way that I think about things isn't totally serious. I mean, some of it is, but there's a lot of me fucking around. All right, a lot of spazzy ideas in there. And right at the end, I think I came up with a pretty good argument to why we live in hell. So I'd really like your perspective on that as well. Just listen to it. Have a listen. Let me think. Also, before we start, we've got to give a shout out to our sponsor, Ian Knight Real Estate Team. If you are thinking of selling your home, even if you're not thinking of selling your home, if you are thinking of selling your home, give them a call. Guaranteed to do an amazing job, get you top dollar for your property, and let them know that you heard about it from the Getting Deep podcast or I sent you personally, because if you do, they'll throw a bit more money at us and they can help us build this podcast into something bigger and better, and I can get on some pretty cool guests. I've got some good ones coming up. So, sell a house, sell it through him. You're going to get me for a solo episode. That's what we're going to do. We're going to do a solo episode. Oh, yeah. That's going to be fun. I don't know if it is. I've got 2 cameras. I keep looking back and forth, and I don't know if I should even bother using 2 cameras or just one. I don't know. I'm going to get distracted, so this will be fun. It'll be fun that I'll get distracted looking between the cameras, and then I'm going to have to change it. But I'm not going to want to edit swapping between both of them, because it's going to be my head. I already have moved my head too many times to think the editing of this is going to be enjoyable for me. I'm going to be annoyed trying to follow my own face, and I'm just going to give up. So if you're watching this, sucked in. You're going to have to deal with wherever I am or not. I'm not looking. I don't know. I'm already getting annoyed and thinking about it, and it's too bad. Too bad for you. Too bad for you, because you're going to have to listen. I've actually got a plan of what I'm meant to speak about, and none of it was this. So I'm going to start with what I've got in my mind. Sorry for distracting you with what I'm thinking about doing after the podcast, but I'm getting so distracted looking at both of these. Sucked in to the viewers. Listeners, enjoy. You're the ones that matter. This is a podcast. This isn't a high production movie where we've got all this cool shit going on in the background. No, it's just a black room. A black room with a couple of little things on the table and a lunatic behind a microphone talking. All right, so the first thing I wanted to speak about was I've been, obviously if anyone's seen any of my stand-up, I've got a whole bit on perspective, and it's something that I try and embody in my life, is trying to see perspective from a different angle. An easy way to think of it is if you look at a cylinder, right? One side of a cylinder, it can look like a square. Another side of a cylinder, it can look like a circle. Another side of a cylinder, it can look like a cylinder, right? And that's just all different perspectives. So depending on the way you look at something can change the perspective or what you actually see massively. So I really try. Now I realize I've got one of the lights in the back. I'm going to leave that. Doesn't matter. One of the lights in the background. It's just a little white thing over there. But your perspective changes the way you see things. And I learned this when I was really young, because I always found that my perspective was wrong. And I don't think it was wrong. I just think that other people fucking lied. But maybe they weren't lying. Maybe they just had a different view on the situation, and I would get upset that their view was completely different to mine, And I heard a saying on a documentary called All This Mayhem about the Pappas brothers, which are two legendary Australian skateboarders. And they said there's always three sides to the story. Your side, my side, and the truth. And that really gave me a better perspective of how human beings work. You know, there is three sides of the story. I always thought the news was never telling the truth. They were always telling you their perspective. But then as I've gotten older, I've realised it's not their perspective. I mean, some reporters might be showing their perspective, but realistically, the news is a fucking propaganda tool used to make everyone think whatever the people who own it want you to think. So, with all that given in mind, I thought, what's the best way to gain new perspective? What do you think it is? I mean, hit the comments up and fucking tell me if you want, because I'm curious. But my thought was, why don't I try and get the perspective of every person or everything they've ever interacted with? And when I say thing, I literally mean pretend you are things that you've interacted with. And that could be anything stupid, like the tiles on your shower wall while you're having a shower. An inanimate object that never moves, what's its perspective? Well, depending on what tile in my shower is, it's got a pretty shit perspective. Like one might just be seeing my butthole all the time. That's a pretty crap perspective, I would say. I don't think anything wants to be staring at my ass all the time. But, you know, and you go, well, what's the life of a tile like? Like, all I do is repel water from my clay base. I'm not letting water get to the wall behind me. I want to stop that. So, like, its perspective is, I am a protector of the wall, you know? So maybe a tile is just like, doesn't matter what I see, I'm just here to protect the wall. Like, so maybe it doesn't actually care about seeing my butt all the time, or just seeing like my nuts or whatever. Maybe it's just like, doesn't care. Like, or maybe it just doesn't have any fucking eyes, so it can't see anything at all. But we're trying to have the perspective of pointless things, I guess. And tiles, you know, they're in the shower. Their perspective is, I'm the protector of the wall. Doesn't matter what I see. So they're realistically like a berserker in a war. You know, they go out there, they fucking kill whatever. They don't care what they see, and they do the job they're set out to do. Be a tile on my wall and look fucking cool while looking at me being naked and washing myself and thinking insane thoughts, because that's what I do in the shower. I think up a lot of my stuff in the shower. It's fun. I think the flowing of water helps your brain work. There is a study that proves that. That wasn't just a lunatic idea I came up with. That's an actual thing. But it helps your brain think. And you're also free of distraction and noise. I mean, there is noise, but the noise kind of blocks out all the other noise. So like the running water and all the shh and all that shit, you can just sit inside your thoughts and really pull things apart and you know, kind of not have to worry about anything else. And if you need a piss, you don't have to get distracted and go to the toilet. You just piss in the shower. But then I imagine the perspective of those floor tiles are like, doesn't matter what happens to us, you can piss on us. We're here to stop the piss from getting through to the floor. We're here to direct the piss to the drain. And all your dirty, we're directed. We are the ultimate cleaners. I mean, that's what I imagine the perspective of a tile is. That's a pretty... See, you just think, like, what's the perspective of it, right? What are some other things that you pointlessly have? Like, I think of, like, my pen. What is the perspective of my pen when I use it? And it's like, this guy's retarded. He can't even write neat. That's probably what its perspective is. Like, why can't I have an owner that, you know, makes me create beautiful things instead of just this fucking chicken scratch filth and then chews on the end of me like a fucking nut? Like, I'm not food. I've got plastic in me. I'm probably going to kill him if he keeps eating me. But why is my owner so vicious with me? You know, maybe that's what the pen's perspective is. Or maybe it's like, oh, I'm doing the best job ever. Like, I'm making sure that this paper's destroyed. I'm getting all my ink into the paper and I'm fucking it up because this guy can't write and eat for shit. You know? You ever thought about that? You should. I think at every point in someone's life, you should consider this perspective of Not just other people, obviously. That's that's a skill. If you can look at something from somebody else's angle and be like, oh, and get some like greatness out of it, that's a fucking skill. That there will teach you how to, get better at life. But the perspective of things that maybe you didn't even think were conscious. Like obviously we don't think that tiles have consciousness, but tiles are made out of clay. And clay is made from the earth. And the earth is made from dead shit. So maybe clay does have consciousness in it. Hey? Maybe the clay is made up of the souls of some dead animals. So maybe it is thinking. And maybe its consciousness has traveled to my tile wall that's protecting it from the water getting through or the piss to the drain. Maybe that could be true. Don't know. Don't know anything, to be honest. I don't think we know much. But there's other things like you could think of what the perspective of it is. Like what your perspective is if you're a gun, like an actual gun used to kill people in a war, What if that was you were a conscious being, unconscious, but it's conscious. Let's just assume, for the sake of my thoughts today, everything in the universe is conscious. Everything inanimate, water, conscious, and we just drink it. You're like, hey, water's conscious. And this is a life thing, and we must drink it to live. So it must die for us to survive. But then what if it's not dying? What if it's just going on an adventure? Because water is the base of stuff. So you don't really, like you break it down kind of in your body, but do you? Because it comes back out as piss, and piss is just water with shit in it. So maybe you just take it on a journey, and because it's like super movable, unlike humans, like we can't chop our hand off and glue it to a wall, and then our hand is on the wall just being a functioning like useful item. Like, yeah, just fucking like, what would you do if you stuck your hand to a wall? And then you were just like, this can be used for things. I mean, the first thing I'm thinking about is like a toilet roll holder where it's your hand, and it can like make sure that like you stick the roll of toilet roll and it just like gonna peel the toilet off and gets like there. Just like, there you go. You've always got that little bit to grab, the bit of paper. Because sometimes toilet paper will stick to roll and you have to roll it back and forth for fucking ages to try and get that bit. And it's like, cunt. I just want to wipe my ass and get the fuck out of this room. But then you can't because the paper's stuck. But if your hand was the toilet roll holder, because you cut it off and stuck it to the wall, you could just push. It would just always have your bit ready to go. You'd be like, yeah, sweet, that's good to go. Just prepared, Life would be easier if you could stick your hands to the wall and they would grow back. Getting distracted. So imagine, for the sake of this, everything is conscious. Every single thing that exists that we can think of is conscious. A pen, a tile, water, glasses. What if glasses were conscious? And just, I'm going to pretend what their perspective of these items are. And then I might move on to like actual things that I believe are conscious, like the rest of like the living animals. But we'll start with this, right? So everything that we use is conscious now, okay? And everything that we interact with. So these microphones are conscious. And they're just like, man, we just sit in this fucking room and then we wait for this dude to bring somebody else in here, and then he just makes noise into us and we collect the noise. And then we turn it into signals that we can then put out elsewhere and can be used as noise elsewhere. So like, what is the perspective of a microphone? Does it be like, man, I'm just getting totally fucking used and abused. Like all they use me for is to speak into me so I can transport their noise elsewhere. I don't even get touched anymore. They've just put me on a fucking stand. They don't even hold me. They used to hold me, man. Do you know, my owner used to hold me. He would take me places. Sometimes he'd take me to a stage and I'd get to see all the crowds. Now the motherfucker just puts me on a goddamn stand on a table and just leaves me in a dark room most of the time. And then every now and then he talks to me. But fuck all. And then sometimes he's just talking shit, like right now. Just talking absolute shit. That's the perspective of my microphone. It's just, maybe I should take my microphone for a walk. Maybe it needs some fresh air. Maybe it's sick of being stuck in this. Maybe I should make my podcast portable so my microphones can go see things. They can get out in the world and, do better shit than just sit here. Maybe I should just hold my microphone now just so I can feel the warmth of my hands on it again. So it knows that I love it, that I love this microphone because it helps me do this podcast that I really enjoy doing. Maybe it just needs a hug every now and then. Just a little microphone hug. Just a little hug so my microphone knows. I love you, microphone. Thank you for being so helpful to my life. Maybe I just got to tell my microphone I love it a bit so it's got a better perspective because I think the perspective of my microphone at this point is not very happy. That didn't sound very happy. I feel like I'm a shit microphone owner if a microphone is conscious, right? I would feel bad now because I thought about it and I just use it. I keep it clean. At least I keep it clean. I look after you, microphone. I keep you clean. But I don't take you on walks. I don't take you anywhere. At least I make sure you're not getting damaged. No one throwing you around. Like I'm not letting other people take you out and smash you and bash you and stuff. So you're in good condition. And you're probably going to stay in good condition for quite a while because you're looked after. So maybe my microphone's perspective is different. Right? Because now I've reversed it. And instead of me being like an annoying shitty owner, now I'm like, I've started convincing it that I've shown it the good side. So its perspective could be, my owner's so awesome. He makes sure that I'm clean. He makes sure that I don't get used too much. No, he doesn't fucking make everyone touch me and move me around. I don't have to go and be on a stage in front of all these fucking people and then 10 people just handle me and do whatever the fuck they want with me, yell into me. And sometimes they just push me around and plug all these fucking random things in my ass. Maybe my microphone's like, I have one thing plugged in at all times. Do you know how great it is? My little, what do you call XLR ports? My little XLR ports don't get fucking abused. They're not constantly plugged in and plugged out, plugged in and plugged out. My owner's so nice. He just makes sure one's plugged into me at one time. Not thrashing my fucking XLR port. Not just thrashing my hole, He's not beating me up. No weirdos are holding me and drooling on me and shit. And it's spitting into me. He's got a nice little pop cover over my mic so no one spits all through me. And if they get great, he cleans them. So I'm not just covered in some fucking weirdo's drool and shit. Make sure I'm not abused. Puts me on a nice little rest so I get to like feel like gravityless. I get to feel like I'm floating all the time. Maybe that's the perspective of a microphone. Maybe it's way nicer. It's not getting as abused as I thought before. Right now, we've just seen two different perspectives of a microphone. This thing, we're just pretending it's conscious, right? Because I think a lot of people forget that we do use shit. Like actually quite literally use shit. So a long time ago, I used to sell dogs. I used to sell Carne Corsos, retained Mastiffs. I don't think I've spoken about this too much on the podcast because I wanted a dog and I had this thought, everything I did had to make money. So if I bought a dog, the dog had to make money because it would justify paying $4,000 for this dog. So we'd sell these dogs. We'd breed them and sell the dogs, sell the puppies so other people could have them. And the way I justified this at first was like, this is a breed of dogs that were classified as like the second best guard dog in the world if you train them properly. Super good with kids, not aggressive, and they looked cool. They were cool dogs. Carne Corsos are fucking cool dogs. Fucking all my dogs that I had, they were the best. They're dead now, but they were dope dogs. Vixen, Vader, and Zelda, amazing dogs, all right? Vader's like this 60-kilo fucking monster, and you like get him to hug you. I literally like taught him to hug. We like hands up and hug, and then he'd get up and you could like hug him and shit. But he was just this big beast, and he was so great with like my kids. They were like babies, and he was just like big dumb. Great dogs. Anyway, so we're breeding them and selling them, right? And the idea was I'm helping people get access to a dog that's super rare in Western Australia, and it's such a great fucking dog. So like that's what I told myself. I was doing a good job. I was helping out people. But the more I kind of thought about breeding dogs as a whole, I kind of realized that like where you're taking a conscious being, right? Then you're making money. I'm not making money off isn't the worst thing, because like that's existence. Our whole existence is like people making money off things that like other people and shit. That's so you kind of can go like whatever. You're not doing anything bad because of that, and they're going to a good home because obviously these aren't fucking cheap. They weren't cheap dogs. They're expensive dogs. So most of the time, if you're spending a bit of money on a dog, you can vet the people and make sure it's not going to like some retarded fucking household where they're going to be like, Christmas time comes along and like, you know what? Fucking don't actually know if I can feed my fucking dog, so I'm just going to send it to the pound. None of that shit. Like, you can try to avoid that. So you can kind of justify to yourself, oh, it's all going to good home. All that. Anyway, the more I thought about it, I was like, we are really just like Stockholm syndroming a whole fucking species of animal, right? And we've justified it in all society, like having a pet of any kind, not just dogs, any fucking pet, which is a conscious animal, right? We've convinced them that we can fucking own them. So they're slaves. They're slaves of enjoyment. That's what a fucking pet, no matter what you want to say, companion, whatever it is, they're slaves of enjoyment because we own them because we want them. And we're like, oh, we want the companion. At birth, did we ask the dog, hey, I know you don't know any better. Your parents don't know any better. Your parents' parents don't know any better. Your parents' parents' parents don't know any better. Your parents' 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 parents don't know any better because they come from a long line of kidnapped Stockholm Syndrome species that live with these humans that just keep making them fuck each other. And every time they have babies, they steal your babies and they give them to somebody else. So this is just normal. It's fine now. But it's fucking really not that fine. Like, you own a dog, right? It has babies, and usually people that breed dogs, they're not breeding the both dogs they own. Sometimes they own them all, but like our first litter was with a dog we didn't own. So we just got some random dog to fuck my dog, right? Right? It's pretty. You get a random, like it was all random. We knew who the dog was, but our dog was just like on heat, like no right. Fuck me! And then you're like, yeah, it wants to get fucked. It wants to get fucked. And then you get the dog, you get your dog fucked by another dog because you know it's going to get pregnant. And then you're like, yeah, fuck, because you want to fuck. And then we're going to steal your babies and sell them. We're going to sell your babies. As soon as they're 8 weeks old, they're fucking out of here. We're selling your fucking babies. That is breeding animals. That's what you're doing. You're like, you want to fuck, eh? You want to fuck, yeah. Maybe like humans. They just want to fuck once. Just have some, like, enjoy it. It's like, my body wants this, so let's do it. I enjoyed it. Now, don't steal my fucking kids, please. No one wants that. Did we not learn from the stolen generation? Nobody wants their kids stolen. Right? We can't even call it a stolen generation when it comes to fucking animals. Because we're stealing all the generations. We've been doing it for years. We just keep fucking doing it and selling it to people. It's fucked up. It's actually pretty fucked up because, like, you're like, nah, the dog loves me. No shit, the dog loves you. You've owned it its whole fucking life. And its parents have been owned by people its whole life. They don't know any better. That's what Stockholm Syndrome is. You fall in love with your kidnapper because you're fucking used to it now. You forgot what real life is. You don't know what it's like out with the wolves in the dirt. And we can justify this, right? I justified it this way. I was like, but this is their life cycle. This is how dogs live. This is how cats live. This is how animals live. We're not stealing them from their habitats because this is their habitat. But it's only their habitat because it's somewhere down the line of our life cycle, humans were like, we want these things to work for us. And we don't have to pay them. We just got to feed the cunts and give them a house to live in. Pretty certain that's what they did with slavery at some point. They're like, we want them to work for us, so we'll just take them. We'll give them a place to live and we'll feed them. And that's it. They're fucking ours. It's honestly, it's very similar if you think about it. And I'm not trying to downplay slavery here. I'm trying to upplay pet ownership as being a bad thing. Slavery's fucked up. Stolen generation's fucked up. Owning animals is pretty fucked up the more you think about it. And I got to a point while breeding dogs where I was like, what the fuck am I doing? I'm selling these fucking animals so I have money. I'm kidnapping my family members. I thought my dogs were my family members, right? Because that's what you do. You don't just fucking you're not like a pimp where you're just whoring out your dog and selling their kids. Oh, wait, you fucking are. But you act like it's not. Nah, it's my family member. Oh, I'm whoring out my sister and selling her kids. It's still fucked. We still shouldn't be doing. How is this fine in society? I don't know. And I don't think it's ever going to change. Because I've got a joke about dogs, about eating dogs, and I have had so many people pissed off at me about it. No, that's my fucking family member. Dude, your family member's a stolen animal. You fucking cunt. You've got a Stockholm Syndrome species in your house and you're like, it's my family member. Yeah, because you bought it, you motherfucker. And then you stole it and you've raised it like your own, like it doesn't know any better. I mean, I know we're maybe too far down the line too. What do? We just stop breeding dogs, stop breeding animals and stop selling them to people. Yeah, probably should do that, right? Then they go extinct. And then we're like, oh, another species is dead, like the dodo. Man, if they couldn't survive, too fucking bad, I guess. Maybe not. I don't know. It's hard. We kill things all the fucking time. We're killing food to survive. That's a true thing. That's a fact too. So I don't know. I don't have a solution to this problem I've created, but I created it myself. So I stopped doing it because I felt bad about selling dogs. I feel like it's not a morally great business. Even though I loved my dogs, obviously, but I don't think I'll ever own a pet again after that. After coming to this realization that I was owning pets to make money for one, which is not really cool. I mean, making money is cool, but making money off selling conscious beings, probably not fucking cool. Probably not. If you were if we genuinely believed in heaven or hell and you're like, hey, are these good tasks to get me through life? Selling beings, probably not up there. Probably not something where you're like, I'm going to heaven. You're probably not going to get to God and he's like, you sold 756 dogs. You're such a good person. Sorry, my phone's ringing. I'm going to turn that off. You sold 756 people or species, animals. You're a legend. No, you're not. You're not. God's not going to be like, fuck yeah. I mean, maybe if you run down the path of going the only reason those things existed is because of you, But then you have to pretend that if you create a life, then you're realistically responsible for its whole existence. Okay? If you have a kid, your job is to help that kid become a great human, right? You can't just fucking nut and bail. Be like, fucking, this kid's not my problem. Fuck you. And then that kid, if that kid becomes a piece of shit, you got to feel bad. You got to feel like partially that's your fault. And if you don't, because you justify it in your head, that's fine. Do whatever makes you work. Ronald McDonald did that. Never even met that man. That's my dad. If you're not following along. Anyway, getting distracted again about this fucking. So I stopped selling dogs. So I feel like it was bad. I don't think, as a society of humans, we should be breeding animals for entertainment purposes, because that's what it is. Companionship. I think we should make companionship with things that already exist, that we're not forcing to exist for us. It's a pretty selfish journey to be a pet owner. And I know anyone's pet owners will be like, shut the fuck up, you dickhead. Just hear me out, all right? This is all about changing perspectives and looking at things from a different way. I'm not saying you're a dickhead. I was a pet owner. I fucking sold a bunch of dogs, okay? I was doing it. I just started thinking about it more because I try to think about things a lot. And I started feeling bad about it. The more I thought about it, I can justify it with good things. Just like you justify anything that you're doing with your pet at this time, right? I used to feed my dogs full carnivore because it's better for them. And there'll be some spastics out there want to argue with me. I did the fucking research. Fuck you, right? I even know the percentages of bone and liver and all that shit you had to give them. I used to spend so much fucking money on making sure my dogs had the right fucking meat, like raw meat. Not fucking pet food made in a bag, dry biscuits. That shit is fucking nasty. I'm telling you right now. You spend 10 to 20 fucking minutes on the internet finding out what pet foods matter. You'll be like, I am a piece of shit owner. I can't believe I fed this shit to my dogs. Right? It's dog crap. It's fucking shit. So even when I justified that, like I was feeding the great, all those things, it's still like generational species abduction. You know, and if we were to go, maybe there's aliens, maybe they're watching us, maybe they're like, cunts, there's no way we can interact with these fucking psychopathic humans, you know? Humans, have you seen what they do? They fucking steal species, they interbreed them until they turn into fucking mutants, and then they justify it by going like, yeah, this is sick. Because like, we do that too. The more pure you get in a dog breed, the more interbred it has been with others in its breed to get there. Like it's GMO'd animals. That's what that's what different species are. They were all wolves at one point. You put a pug down the park and go, I can't figure life out. That's just a football at that point. That's all that it's good for dinner. Someone's gonna be like, look at this fat little fuck. Kangaroo pops up, it's like, bah, bah, and just fucking munch. I don't actually know if kangaroos eat meat, so maybe a crocodile. We know crocodiles eat meat. Crocodile just looks at a fucking pug and just goes, this is like a wombat. No. Just little fucking num-nums. So yeah, I think I'm going to move past this point. I think I've made it pretty clear what I think about breeding and how I got there. But if you're a pet owner, pretend to be the perspective of your dog. But don't just pretend to be the perspective of your dog, your cat, your lizard, your snake, if you own fucking snakes and you've got them in their cage. Because them ones, like, they're still in the wild, right? A snake is still in the wild. Lizards are still in the wild. So you're taking them into a tiny box. Same as fish. This thought really started with fish. It did. And then it got deeper and deeper with animals. But fish was one where I was like, man, imagine being a fish from the fucking ocean. Right, imagine being a fish from the ocean and some cunt put you in a fucking fish tank. The ocean, 70% of this fucking earth is water. And these cunts might stay in the same spot, but they've got the ability to go adventure. They don't do it. It's like the local junkie that's been in Rockingham forever. They're not leaving, but they could. It's possible, but they're not going to do it. There might be fish like that. But, you know, there might be like a Nemo that goes on a fucking wild adventure. But they're not going on that adventure in your fucking fish tank, are they? No. So you're collecting him for your own amusement. And your own amusement when it comes to a fish is really shitty. It's just, I want to look at this because I think it looks cool. It's pretty fucked up. It's pretty fucked. Being a fish owner is pretty bad. That one is bad, right? Because you're not hugging your fish, eh? Because that's how you kill fish. Hug them, they're dead. They're very dead. Anyway, just take the perspective of your pet. Because that's easier. I started with tiles and pens and water and shit. That was probably pretty stupid. Let's start with pets. The perspective of your pets, your kids, and your family around you, right? Take the perspective of your pet. Then take the perspective of your pet's parents, right? And then take the perspective of your pet's parents. And just think about how these animals have existed their whole fucking life and how they actually feel about it. And then take the perspective of their parents. And then think about it from a different angle, a different point of view, right? You're the dog, you're the owner. Now, what does somebody that eats dogs think? Dinner, something else. No, but like honestly, from a different point of view. Take the good and the bad side. You see me do it with the microphones. I managed to do it. I managed to have a bad perspective of the microphone and a good perspective of the microphone. I started there, and then we somehow got to dogs and stop being a pet owner. I think it's pretty messed up. See, it's like vegans are like, you can't eat animals and shit, but then some vegans have pets. That fucking makes no sense to me. None whatsoever. You're willing to enslave something for your enjoyment, and I love it. It loves me. Oh my God. But don't you dare eat chickens. Fuck off. I actually, I'm going to lead into something else here because I've got other shit written down, but I've got a view that I've kind of been developing, I think. That I think that maybe everything that grows on Earth is conscious. Like, truly conscious. Like, just because we're humans, we're too fucking stupid to understand, right? And that's just, we just have to accept that sometimes. We're not the smartest fucking things that we think you are. We think we're pretty smart, yeah. We build shit, we conquer, but honestly, we're retarded. As a species on a whole, majority fucking don't function very well, right? But, where was I going with this? Oh, yeah. If everything's conscious, right? If everything that grows, let's start with things that grow, okay? I know we were talking about inanimate objects before. That was just for perspective. This isn't a perspective thing. I guess it is, my perspective. Whatever. Fuck off. That everything that grows, like a blade of grass, grows conscious, right? I know you might be thinking I'm going too far here, but there is the biggest organism on the earth is a fucking mushroom, but it's not even a mushroom. It's just a fungus that like can communicate over an entire forest or something. And it's one big thing, but it's like not even totally connected, but it kind of is because it can like connect through the soil, but it's not like one big piece, right? It's like skin. I don't know. Anyway, I don't know enough about. That's got to be conscious, right? Like your dog, everyone's like, nah, your dog's not conscious. They don't think. Fuck off. If you're telling me your dog loves you, then your dog thinks. You have to think that. You have to believe that. Otherwise, you literally have an animal that's your slave. It's a slave for entertainment. If it loves you, then it thinks. Then it's conscious. And we can go back to this idea. So now if we imagine that every organism, everything that grows is conscious. A blade of grass, conscious. And you're like, nah, it can't be conscious because its fucking life is boring. It's like, yeah, but have you ever been like dumb? Like, have you ever been really fucking dumb? Like, have you ever watched a fucking TV show that was boring and you didn't turn it off and you continue to watch it and you just sat there like a vegetable? That's the term they'll say, like a vegetable, and thought about shit? Ever done that? Yeah, you have, right? So maybe a grass having consciousness isn't that fucking stupid. Maybe its consciousness works differently to us. Maybe its perspective, what it can see, is different to us. Because if you know anything about sound and light, we only hear and see a very small range of those frequencies, right? Light and sound are both frequencies. We only hear a small range, right? So maybe what a blade of grass sees or hears, and we go, nah, it doesn't have ears or eyes, so it can't. So maybe let's just use the word sense then to make this easier for us all. Maybe what a blade of grass senses is so much more than us that it's actually a way more exciting life for a blade of grass, right? Maybe it experiences time differently. Maybe everything that we know is fucking wrong. And I think one of these batteries is going to die on my thing. So what I might do is I'm going to pause for a second. Hold the thought. We were a blade of grass being consciousness. That's where we were. So like, if it can perceive everything way differently to the way we do, it might have a really exciting life, right? That's how we can use this exercise to pretend that a blade of grass is conscious. So every single thing that grows is conscious. A piece of fruit, a vegetable, a blade of grass, any weed, every little insect, all these things are conscious. They don't just exist for the point of existing in our life or whatever bullshit you want to tell yourself. I used to tell myself, a bug dies, it doesn't matter. It probably does. It probably does matter if you kill a bug. Like, just because it looks like it's doing fuck all, or science has told us that ants don't think, only the queen ant thinks, and then the rest are drones. Man, is that what they think about humans, Bart? Like, there's surely government officials that think humans are just drones. We've heard the term sheep used. I don't know if anyone was around during COVID, but it wasn't like they just fucking, it was just numbers. Just, here's some scary numbers. Do the thing that we say to do. So I think maybe if we pretend that everything is conscious, right? We move on to this thought of is a vegan actually a better option than being a carnivore, right? Because if one cow dies, it's a lot of meat. It's a lot of sustenance for the earth. There's only one animal that dies in that process. One animal that you kill in that process, right? Whereas if we eat fruit or vegetable, every single fruit could be a conscious being of its own. Every leaf, every bloody grass, it's a conscious tree. Or are we just stealing the fucking babies off a tree again? You know? Let's pretend I've got an apple tree in my backyard. I'm thinking about putting an apple tree and an orange tree in my backyard for my kids to eat fruit. That's where this idea come from, right? And then I thought, man, is that just like a little slave tree? Am I just building a little slave tree in my backyard so I can eat its babies? Is that what's going on here? Is that like, if everything is conscious, every thing that grows is conscious, a piece of fruit would be conscious, right? And we cut its life short when we're like, time to eat, gonna munch ya, and then just torture it by like destroying it inside of our bodies. What if that's the case? Now, the question would be to any vegan or vegetarian out there, how would you quantify if you're doing the right thing then at that point, if you believe that everything is conscious? And I know there is an argument with vegans that if a cow or animals that are raised on farms and whatnot, they have to still eat grass and everything to survive. Which is, again, this is a fucked up thought I had. How the fuck can we eat cows and get like a fuck ton of sustenance out of us, and then cows just eat grass? And you go, well, it's got like 5 stomachs and shit. So fucking what? That means inside the cow, it's still got enough nutrients to create nutrients. Like, if you think of how chemistry works, it's still fucking creating all the chemistry out of grass. Maybe what we know about food is completely wrong. Maybe we don't even need to eat that much to survive. Like, maybe this vessel we have is really just being overloaded with bullshit all the fucking times. And we can eat like fuck all. Like, you know them people that they just eat junk food all the fucking time, but they're skinny? And you're like, how the fuck are you fine? And then they live fine. You know, there's always that thing with smoking back in the day. There'd always be like someone's grandparents was like 102. Like, been smoking all my fucking life. I'm fucking fine. I'm fine. That's fucking, you're sucking poison. Like, smoking is so bad for you, but then there'd be cunts being like, you're going to die someday. So, like, maybe what we think we know about food is completely wrong. Maybe we can literally eat fucking dog shit to survive. Like, maybe our body's just like, you put water in it, you're like, yeah, it just needs fucking liquid, man. It just needs some liquid to function, and realistically, you can eat fuck all, or you can eat just crap, you can eat anything, and you'll just fucking live, man. Like, we eat cows that just eat grass, and they survive off grass. I know what we're going to do. We're going to go super sciencey and be like, yeah, they're fucking evolved that way. Yeah, it's cool. But still, it does that. There's a little fucking calculation there that cows eating grass, then us eating cows, we can live off eating just cows. They can live off eating just grass. The chemistry doesn't fucking chemistry. It doesn't make any fucking sense. If anyone thinks you can explain this to me in a better way, hit me up. I'll listen to you. But you better come fucking stacked with the fucking facts and not just be like, nah, 5 something. Like, don't be, really, if you're going to come to me with this, come to me with a lot of information. Because I'm going to keep digging and we can discuss it. If you want to just tell me I'm wrong and tell me I'm an idiot, fucking join the crowd. There's plenty of fuckwits that do that already. Don't care. I am honestly in discussion. Anyway, imagine you're a vegan. Everything is conscious. Wouldn't it be better to then eat animals, because the amount of conscious beings that have to die at your hand is lower, right? And wouldn't it be better to mostly eat big animals and not waste any of the animal? I think wastage on animals is pretty bad too. That's definitely something we should think about. Like, it's definitely something you should definitely eat, like mince, because that's like the shit parts of cow being chopped up. You should definitely eat other bits of animals. You should. Like chicken feet. I don't eat chicken feet. I think it's pretty gross. I've tried it. Not a fan. I do respect that people eat it, because then they're making sure that every part of that animal is being used. And I try and, this is something I do try and teach my kids, so you should maybe take this on board for yourself, that when we eat food, you have to really be like grateful that a conscious being has died for you to eat it, you know? And when I was younger, you used to always be like, oh, eat everything in your plate. And I used to think like, yeah, you have to eat everything in your plate just because you don't want to waste food. Now it's like, it's not like wasting food. It's like wasting conscious beings' flesh. Like, we're really like, humans are a body that's created on a pile of dead conscious things. The only reason we exist is because we eat things that live, right? Grass grows. I mean, let's not use grass. Fruit and vegetable, that grows. You got to eat that shit to exist. Wheat, if you want to go down the path of fucking bread, grows. Everything we eat grows. And if everything that grows is conscious, we're literally just things that are the most carnivorous sorry, my nose is fucking leaking. Goddamn winter. We are things, we're a species that's just living off killing. Everything must die for us to exist. And you kind of got to grasp that and go like, fuck, that's true. We really are a species that only exists when things that grow die for us. But that is realistically every animal on Earth. I mean, I don't know about microorganisms. I don't know if they have to eat shit to exist, or if they just, I think they do. I think it's all like exchanges. I should probably look into that before I had this fucking rant. Whatever. Now I've got something else to look into. But because cells, I guess, I might try and figure this out. Cells start and then they multiply and then they move on. I'm not going to figure this out. I'm not going to figure it out. I'm going to do some information searching later and find out if microorganisms need shit to exist. I'm pretty certain they do. I'm pretty certain they do kind of eat shit. Right? Anyway. So for existence, we must kill. Right? So then you go, oh, maybe it is okay to own pets for entertainment. The fact is, to survive, we must just be killing things. Maybe we're actually in hell, right? And the controllers of hell, like, maybe it's not hell as in the way of like heaven and hell, whereas like hell is like a place where you're just eternally tortured. Maybe at some point the devil lost control of hell, or he just got fucking bored. And he was like, man, I'm so sick of torturing these cunts. I'm just going to fucking knock off for a few thousand years, few millennia, and just fucking let them cunts ride wild. And then some cunts figured out how to take over hell. And they're like, man, do you know what the best thing we can do in hell is? We'll just convince everyone that what they're doing is okay. But we'll do it in a way where they feel good about it. And then we can kind of like enslave them, because like they need to just consume. Right? Imagine if that was it. we're in hell. Everything we do is bad. Like, existing is bad. We must kill things to exist. So maybe it's like maybe it's a multi-dimensional test of like how you can survive this thing with as least killing or death as possible, right? But then as a society, we've grown to exist and been convinced that what we're doing isn't bad, right? Like creating paper. To create paper, obviously most people know this, but if you don't, you got to chop down trees. We're killing a living thing so we can write on it, so we can keep notes and create information. That's pretty fucking wasteful. You know? A living being died so we had some information that we can carry around and do whatever it is. And if you work at a place that prints off lots of shit, I've fucking worked at a place that print off so much paper, so much fucking pointless shit. That's a living thing that died for that. That is immoral, right? Technically, if we want to go really, really ethically and moral into this, that's bad. Everything we eat grows. So everything must die for us to eat. Bad. Everything we own is made out of things that have grown at some point. Like we're talking about chemistry and plastic and all that, like what's a good one? Latex, condoms, and fucking balloons. That's made out of rubber tree sap. So a balloon, a condom that you put on your dick to go fucking stop more babies from being created or diseases from spreading, maybe that's immoral. Maybe it's immoral to not spread diseases. Maybe you're not letting that disease live out its life and it's... All right. Even I know that was probably a little bit stupidly too far. That one was a bit dumb. But latex technically could be like, it's made from a living organism. It's made from a tree. Maybe that was conscious. Maybe the fucking latex itself is still conscious. Maybe you're sticking a conscious being on your dick and you're jamming it into some other person. And you're like, oh, fucking, yeah, I'm going to stick this. That's like putting a fucking... That's like putting a human on the spit. But you're like three dudes. You're fucking a dude that's fucking a dude. You're like, yeah, I'm going to fuck this guy into this other guy. You know, the condom's realistically that man in the middle. Yeah, I'm going to fuck this being into it. All right. Even I know I'm going a bit fucking far with this. But it's funny in my head. It's pretty but it could be. So maybe really we're just in hell. And the idea is by the time we die, consciousness elevates to a four-dimensional plane. And they go, all right, how much shit did you actually fucking kill? And how much do you feel bad about it? And then you're like, I didn't kill anything. And they're like, no, actually, we're going to show you everything that's conscious. How much effort did you put in to make sure you were killing less things or torturing less souls throughout your process? Because maybe we are the devils in this process, but we don't even know it. We've been convinced over time, over the Illuminati or whatever the fuck we want to act like, whatever it is, some like overlords that somehow have more power than us, and they just convince us that what we're doing is good. So we're perpetrating all this torture on the earth when realistically, if we were dead, we would be better, right? Maybe we are the devil's torturers. We go out there, we breed animals so we can have them as our fucking entertainment. We kill things so we can eat because we can only survive off killing and torturing fucking living things. Realistically, this is hell and we just got one of the better jobs in hell. Maybe that's what this is. Maybe that's what our life is. The simulation is how would this person's consciousness exist in a place where they are the torturer, and how would they justify it to themselves to continually go out and kill and torture as many conscious beings as possible? What if that's it? What if that is what the simulation is? What if that's what life is? Life is just a continuous hellish trap of us torturing and killing other conscious beings so we can exist for longer. Because that's what it is. The more shit we kill, the longer we can live and the more we can enjoy our lives. And not even everyone's happy. You know, not even everyone is fucking stoked with their life. People kill themselves. They get so fucking sick of killing things, they kill themselves. They don't even realize they're killing everything. This podcast went much darker than I have. I've written down so much shit here. And it started with the perspective of tiles. And I didn't even get to the second part. We're nearly at an hour. And I don't know. I think I might just save this shit for another podcast. Because I've managed to somehow rant for this long about the perspective of this earth and what we think about it. And I'm fucking surprised myself here. I forget that I'm fucking this spastic and I think too much all the time. So I think maybe we'll wrap it up there. We'll wrap it up with this idea that, you know, take it away, have a think about it, and comment or send me a message if you want. If you don't want fucking people to know that you listen to the podcast, just send me a message and be like, dude, what about this? I'll probably fucking have a chat with you about it. Because this shit interests me. Like, people's perspective of what it is we're doing on this planet, in this universe, in this simulation, in this hell. Because it can't be fucking heaven. I'm certain of that one. But this could be hell. It could be hell. And we could be the torturers. We could be the people doing the bad shit. So send us some comments and your thoughts on like, and if you've got any like weird perspectives you've created or you thought about, of things that you interact with on a daily basis, or something you do, you spend time with that is not something that matters. You know, like a microphone, a tile. No one really thinks about them for more than 4 seconds. Maybe spend some time with something that you use in your life and take its perspective on board. Pretend it's conscious and care for it a little bit more. Care for your own stuff. Care for other people. Care about the shit that you kill to exist. Maybe that's what I'm going to take from this. What you take from this is take some time out of your life to take the perspective of everything you deal with on board and start giving more fucks. Right? We have to kill things to exist. That's a fucking basis of human existence. Unfortunately, things must suffer for us to thrive. But accept that. Accept that we kill animals. Accept that anything that grows is probably conscious. And go, hey, I know I'm doing this. It's probably pretty fucked up, but it's you or me, motherfucker, unfortunately. But just be nicer about it, you know? We don't have to be cunts. You don't have to waste food. That's a definite, maybe don't do that. That's bad. We don't have to own pets. We don't have to do these things. But we choose to. I'm going to finish it there. Do hit me up and tell me some shit. Send this to someone that's super fucking selfish. Someone that doesn't think about anything else but themselves and be like, super funny, hell retarded, blah, whatever you're going to do to convince them to listen to this podcast. And just be like, give an hour of your time and listen to this lunatic rant about the perspective of inanimate things like tiles, microphones, or blades of grass. Maybe, just maybe, they might become a better person. Maybe, just maybe, they'll tell everyone I'm a fucking retard. Don't know. But do me a favor and send it to one person like that. All right. Bye.